These are the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless Earbuds 4. I've been using Sennheiser's latest True Wireless earbuds for over a month and a half now, so I have a lot of thoughts. In this review, we'll go over the fit, battery, and new forms of connectivity, listen to some objective and immersive ANC, transparency, and mic samples, and talk about the sound quality, my custom EQ, and more, all from the perspective of an audio engineer of over 15 years. We'll discover why you should or shouldn't spend $300 of your hard-earned money on the Momentum True Wireless Earbuds 4. I always want you to make informed purchases, and if you're going to pick these up, there are links in the description. The Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4 earbuds mostly look the same as the prior generation in almost every area, but the colors come in white silver, black graphite, and black copper. Other than the colors, little makes it stand out as something new. The 4s come with various silicone ear tips and different size ear wings. While every ear is different, the ear wings didn't provide any functional benefit to me as they were too small, and the ear tips themselves didn't seal as easily as other earbuds. I did run the fit test multiple times and often find that it didn't pass. The silicone tips are so thin that they easily fold in on themselves, which breaks a proper seal. It would be fantastic if Sennheiser included phone ear tips like what Sony does on the WF-1000XM5 or what they do with their own IEMs. It would provide a much more snug fit and the ear tips would not fold over. Beyond getting a proper seal, the Momentum True Wireless 4s are comfortable but large, making them uncomfortable to lay down on your side with. The Momentum True Wireless 4s have an IP54 rating, so it'll handle some rain and a good sweat without a problem. I like the cloth finish on the case, but it's hard to deny that the case is bigger than many other options from competitors. It's also odd to me that the charging port is on the front of it, which makes it look less clean. I've always wondered why they did it this way when everyone else has it on the back. Speaking of charging, many of you who have had the Momentum True Wireless 3s or researched it know about the charging issues that loomed over it. I'm happy to say they resolved the issues with the Momentum 4s with improvements to the design to ensure a proper connection and a new battery supplier. The Momentum 4s are rated for 30 hours of total playtime and 7.5 hours per earbud charge. That's enough to get you through most flights and likely the entire time you'd use it and wear it for your workday. So far, even while using it for an extended period, I haven't had to recharge it while wearing it for a long stretch. I always end up putting it in the case naturally when I'm done before the battery runs out. In the app, you can see both the case and earbud battery levels, enable an eco mode which deactivates higher audio codec options, and enable a battery protection mode. This mode makes it so that the case and earbuds charge slower and do not exceed 80% charge. These two things can extend the overall lifespan of the batteries, so you can hang on to these for longer. You can charge the Momentum True Wireless 4s using the front-facing USB-C port or wireless charging. The most dramatic changes to the Momentum True Wireless 4s come not from what you can see, but the intangibles found in its connectivity and the tech it brings and opens it up to so that these can be more future-proof. You have the rather basic things that keep it current, like the ability to use either earbud solo perfectly fine, and the latest Bluetooth 5.4, which the 4s are among the first to release with. With that is support for lower latency gaming, which seems perfectly fine for most typical games. However, if you're playing some competitive FPS shooters, you should get a pair of gaming earbuds with a USB-C dongle for lower latency. The significant changes come in Qualcomm's latest Bluetooth chip, which supports Snapdragon Sound Lossless Audio, which means you can get 16-bit 44.1 kHz CD quality sound. This is a higher quality codec than LDAC. There's also support for Bluetooth LE audio, which supports up to 24-bit 96 kHz audio. The one thing to be mindful of with these codecs is whether your playback device supports them. Only a few devices support Snapdragon Sound Lossless Audio, and they're unfortunately not from Apple, Samsung, or Google. Higher codec settings typically demand more from the battery, so they do have a standard mode for all-day listening, which doesn't pull as much from the battery. One of the benefits of Bluetooth 5.4 is the range in which you can maintain a connection between the earbud and the playback device. I can maintain a connection throughout my entire house through doors and ceilings. However, when you're utilizing high-quality audiophile codecs like the lossless or high-resolution options, the connection is less stable, especially at distances. At these higher audio resolutions, the audio will often move from stereo to mono, which can be jarring. Despite that, the connection remains, so I don't experience any dropouts, and walking closer to the playback device restores the stereo playback. Another supported technology is Auracast, which excites me about the feature of shared audio. There's a more in-depth explanation of it in my Best of CS video, which you can view in the card up here. But here's a quick overview of what it is and why you should be excited about it. Auracast is a technology that allows for broadcast channels that you can connect to, like a Wi-Fi network, and listen to. This can be as small as sharing your laptop audio with a friend and watching the same movie together through a password-protected broadcast, to a specific gate at an airport that can connect to and hear announcements that briefly lower or pause your music so you can listen to the announcement and then resume, to large-scale events with a presenter on stage, or simply the ability to tune into a different TV at a bar. It's legitimately so simple, but something that will be amazing as it is adopted more over time, and the Momentum True Wireless 4 is one of the first earbuds to natively have support for it from the start. One other thing Sennheiser has mentioned is regular feature drops. What does that mean regarding actual features, frequency, and support length? I don't know. I always say that you should buy a product based upon what it is now rather than what it could be later, which is also my policy for reviews. For active noise cancellation, transparency, and mic quality, it's one thing to talk about it, it's another to hear objective samples. So let's listen to some of them. Okay, we're starting with the transparency level on the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4, and we're on the max transparency setting. How does it sound? Does it sound natural? Let's go to active noise cancellation. So now we're on active noise cancellation on the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4. You know, how does it sound? And now we're back to transparency mode on the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4. Okay, now we have the transparency mode on the max setting. We have a fan here at full blast, as well as a simulated cafe environment. How do you think it sounds? And now we have transparency mode on the max setting with this really loud fan on, and again, the simulated cafe environment off to the side. How do you think it's performing? The one thing that I can say is that the ANC surprised me. It's not uncommon to use earbuds that say that they have ANC, but they do a somewhat subpar job where it just hollows out everything, which is more distracting and disorienting. The Momentum True Wireless 4s legitimately reduce the overall volume on a wide range of frequencies, which allows you to minimize distractions and listen to your music at lower volumes because you're not fighting with those surroundings. That means you can easily listen at healthy volume levels, protecting your ears. You only have one pair of them, so take care of them. As for transparency, these are way more natural sounding than they were in the past. In some situations, it sounds like I don't have anything in my ears, and at other times, it doesn't have that same level of natural transparency. It's all about what's passing through. Is it someone talking? It's pretty natural. Is it a fan or other standing noise? It's not as natural. Unfortunately, the biggest issue with transparency mode is the persistent electronic hiss. ANC? Transparency. Do you hear the hiss? Even the ANC mode has it, but at a much lower volume and frequency. I also noticed I could hear some wind noise relatively quickly while walking in transparency mode. There is an anti-wind setting, but that essentially defeats the purpose of a transparency mode and is placed within the ANC settings box, so it may have a different philosophy for its use. I understand what's going on with the anti-wind setting. It's an ANC feature. You can hear the wind even with ANC turned on, but if you have the anti-wind feature turned on, now the ANC doesn't have as much wind noise, but you don't have anti-wind noise for transparency mode. ANC is good, but less than industry leaders like Bose, Sony, and Apple. For transparency, Bose and Apple are still far ahead. We'll certainly get a deeper look in comparison when I put out one of my massive comparison videos, which I plan to release next month. Those videos take over 80 plus hours for me to make, not including the help I get from others, so thanks for your patience, friends. As for the quality of the microphones, here's what the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4 earbuds microphone sounds like in a relatively quiet room. There's nothing running right now, so how do you think it sounds? Here is what the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4 earbuds sound like with a fan going at full blast and a simulated cafe environment there. Can you hear me when I'm talking and there's wind and stuff? I don't know. How is it performing? Let me know what you notice in the comments. By the way, I'm very excited about the big comparison coming up. If you've liked these objective samples and later on the audio sample that you'll hear, there's a whole bunch more that you'll get from it and a way longer, more in-depth technical video comparing the Bose Quiet Comfort Earbuds Ultra, the Sony WF-1000XM5s, the AirPods Pro 2 USB-C version, and of course the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4 earbuds. The great thing about these tests is that they're objective. You can come to your own conclusions and don't even have to agree with my observations and opinions. I'd love to hear what you think and notice in the comments. Sennheiser is a brand that has long been associated with high-end audiophile quality sound. They have an excellent reputation for the best sound out there. So the question is, did Sennheiser make a product that provides provides the sound quality audiophiles want to use, especially in their flagship wireless earbud product. One of the best things to lend towards what an audiophile wants is the support for lossless audio and higher quality audio codecs like Snapdragon Sound Lossless and Bluetooth LE audio. And I have to say, it's not a gimmick. With these settings enabled, you can hear more air and space on the high end while listening to music. To keep things sounding consistent at different volumes, they have adaptive EQ, so things sound consistent whether you're listening quietly or loudly. The way we perceive specific frequencies varies depending on the volume level. It's kind of wild. You can look up the equal loudness contour to understand the science behind this phenomenon. Oh, it also doesn't have spatial audio, 3D audio, or head tracking, but I'll be honest, I don't really care about this. I often think it sounds like a poorly treated room, so I'm okay with them not including this, but do you care about those features? Now, powering the sound is a 7mm driver capable of producing frequencies from 5Hz to 21 kHz beyond the human hearing range. Sennheiser said that they improved the treble response from the Momentum True Wireless 3s, and I'll be honest, the 3 sounded lifeless and not fun to listen to at all, for me. So did they tune the Momentum True Wireless 4 so it has that great, clear audiophile high-end and mid-range? No, they didn't. Now, you're going to have to hear me out to the end of the video on this one. There's some nuance that you really got to hear. The high end is significantly tamed. The best way I can describe it is that it sounds like you're under a couch. The lack of high-end clarity results in instruments and vocals blending into a mushy, thuddy smear. At their default, the AirPods Pro 2 and Bose Quiet Comfort Earbuds Ultra baseline sound is significantly better than on the Momentum True Wireless 4s. This is extremely unfortunate because I know they custom make their drivers. I saw them making them at their factory, and they're fully capable of producing excellent sound quality with airy, open, transparent, and detailed highs. Instead, they intentionally tuned it for a consumer bassy, muffled sound that will only help them associate the Sennheiser brand with anything but high quality audiophile sound. Eventually, choices like this will catch up to Sennheiser unless they fix it. But my thoughts on the sound are far more nuanced. There are more tools and options in the Sennheiser Smart Control app and beyond that can make the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4s worth buying. In many ways, we've already seen some of the app and software controls earlier in the video, but I want to point out some additional things before I share how you can adjust the sound beyond the sound zones feature, which allows different sound profiles and settings depending on your location, which admittedly is helpful and convenient for some people. One option they've added is a sound personalization feature, a guided listening test developed in cooperation with the Fraunhofer Institute. It wasn't clear to me what it was doing while going through it the first time, but it worked way better than I expected. You'll likely have to do it a few times to get a feel for what it's doing to get a sound that you're happy with. These tools make sense for making things easy for the masses, which means they should remain. The issue is that there needs to be an option to do something more advanced. Sure, there's a 5-band EQ option, but it's extremely limiting. I also hear other frequencies changing and a significant amount of compression hitting when I move any of the EQ bands, making them less useful because it doesn't work the way that you'd expect. I wish there was a more advanced mode like what you find on the Nothing Ear 2 that gives multiple bands, control the frequency adjusted, Q shape, etc. Sennheiser is a brand associated with audiophiles and the best mics that audio engineers use. So make a product that provides the features audiophiles and engineers would want to use, especially for your flagship TWS product. Again, there's a mismatch between the perception of Sennheiser's brand and the actual product. Thankfully, the Momentum True Wireless 4 handles EQ very well with Wavelet, an Android app that gives you more control and quality than the Sennheiser app. It makes sense that it's easy to EQ because Sennheiser's custom-made drivers are more capable than most other brands that use off-the-shelf drivers. And that brings me to the thing saving the Momentum True Wireless 4s for me. If you've been around, you know that my audio engineering roles often involve me mixing, so I'm all for adjusting the sound of earbuds and headphones with my custom EQs to get the sound that I want and that I think makes the music and content that I listen to sound great. Thankfully, I created a custom EQ that adds the air, clarity, detail, and energy previously missing and cleans up the low end, resulting in a much tighter and punchier sound than before. This custom EQ makes me love using the Momentum True Wireless 4s more than other earbuds on Android. Here's a quick sample of the difference between stock and my custom EQ. Can you hear the difference? If you want the custom EQ, it's available for channel members. You can join by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. That helps support videos like this, but also helps me hire help for my massive comparison videos with tons of audio samples, tests, and more. If we counted all the labor for everyone working on it, not just me, it's over 120 hours of work. So thanks to all of you who support me by becoming a member or even using the super thanks feature to tip. Let's hear one more sample before I share my final thoughts, which will help you figure out whether or not you should buy these or not, but will also be a good word for Sennheiser to hear. The big question, should you buy this? The answer is quite nuanced and specific to two scenarios. If you're using an iPhone, this is a hard sell. First, the iPhone does not allow you to create system-wide custom EQs like on Android. Then you add in the variable that the AirPods Pro 2 sounds better than the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4s in its default tuning. The AirPods Pro 2 also has better ANC, transparency, and ecosystem benefits like Find My at the same price as the 4s. While the AirPods Pro may not be the best in any category, its overall packaging is fantastic for iPhone users, and it also manages to do everything that the Momentum True Wireless 4s can do, but better in actual use. Sure, it may not have support for lossless audio, but a codec does not make an earbud sound good, especially one tuned as muffled as these. It only accentuates what is already there. If you're using an Android, this all changes. With my custom EQ, these earbuds come alive for me. I can get a better sound than my custom EQ for the Sony WF-1000XM5s. Combined with more and more phones supporting Snapdragon sound lossless audio and Bluetooth LE, the codecs won't make the sound, but it'll add the extra sprinkles on top of my custom EQ to make it sound even better. Add in the fantastic battery life, the solid ANC and transparency mode, and the eventual adoption of Orcast, and it's a great choice. The Sennheisers are my choice when I'm on Android. And I know some of you have probably thought that I'm being harder on Sennheiser than Apple, Sony, or Bose, or whatever, and you're right. That's because they don't advertise themselves as audiophile quality like Sennheiser, and they don't continually talk about the rich history of having some of the best sound and microphones. I've used Sennheiser mics for live performances and in this studio for over a decade and a half. I'm using their microphone right now for this video. My frustrations come from them not living up to their reputation. I know they want to cater to the mass consumer with their wireless Bluetooth lineup, but even Sony, Beats, and Bose are moving more towards a more neutral and clean sound over the bassy, thumpy, congested, dark sound that Sennheiser keeps choosing. My hope in the feedback I've given them is that they need to realize that listeners' ears are maturing and they want a more sophisticated sound profile. That's why Sony is even less dark, thumpy, and congested than Sennheiser, which is wild since that was the Sony sound. If they don't figure it out soon, they will lose the goodwill and reputation they've been coasting on for their wireless Bluetooth products. And that would just make me really sad. Full disclosure, I am currently doing business with Sennheiser and they are paying me to create some of the content for the social media channels. They do not have any editorial control or influence over this video, which I'm sure you're able to put together based upon some of the things I've said in this video. They're seeing this video at the same time as you. Again, if you'd like to pick up the Momentum True Wireless 4s, there are links in the description next to the link to watch my other audio review videos. Thanks for watching. This is Tech Today. Until next time.